Hey folks, how you doing? All right. Subscribe. Subscribe. I'm waiting. Folks, I wanted to talk about the dissolution of simplicity. They, in the present generation, have just wiped simplicity away. There's a few pockets of people living around the world who live simple lives that are clear, it's transparent, not difficult to understand them. But what happened to the simplicity? At one time, everybody in the world lived simple lives. But what happened? It was dissolved. And complexity took over, you see. And it's about all areas of life. There are three called the three ruffians. That is three areas of life. Religion, the state, and big business. Complexity. The state includes like Congress or the Parliament or whatever. So when the fellow's going to introduce a bill, it is complex. You have to get a lawyer to understand it. When you have to get a lawyer to understand something or explain it to you, it's complex. Simplicity is gone. There's a problem with that. Because when it is complex, embedded within the complexity is displacement of facts, misinterpretations of what the person might be talking about. Relative to his views, he has misinterpreted something, but he puts it in the bill. Distortions. Now, when someone, let's say, discusses the bill and he says something, but the writer of the bill said, no, I didn't say that. You've taken it out of complex. Well, then we're talking about ambiguity. It can be taken this way, that way, or this way, because it's complex. It's like it says one thing and means something else. It throws people off, it confuses people, it frustrates people, causes problems for people. It brings on all sorts of problems in a society. That is complexity. Transparency is like out of the question. It was the ancient civilizations that had transparency. But when we read something about the ancient civilization, I mean way back there, in the mythology or in any religious writings, It tends to be complex. Not because those folks back there were complex, they wasn't. It is the folks today and their writings of the ancient times that is complex. Why? Is it because the writers didn't know exactly what they were talking about? And so they write in such a way that it's confusing and ambiguous to the reader. You see what I mean? So when somebody asks a question about it, well, I didn't mean it that way. You're taking it out of context. You know? Well, that's what goes on. We all know that. Everything now, when it comes to legal documents, you need a lawyer to understand it. Sometimes the lawyers don't understand. They have to ask questions. Well, what do you mean by this? Or what do you mean by that? You see. So, simplicity has been dissolved. And like it doesn't exist anymore. It happens to be, it's in parallel with living a complex life, period. And when a person gets into living a complex life, they experience frustration, pain, confusion, etc. And so what they want to do is to, let's say, shut that out. They want to shut it out. They want to get rid of the frustration. They want to get rid of the confusion. They want to get rid of this and that. Dealing with such things is exhausting. And so people say, well, we got to go on a vacation. What think they're going to get away from it? Well, okay. So they get away for it for a couple of weeks or a month or however long it is. But they've got to return to it. Because that is the life that people have set up for themselves, the present generation. Has set this complexity situation up. And it makes life very difficult. As I said, it brings on frustration, confusion. Which brings on stress and illness. That is what has happened in the world today. People are getting sick because things are so complex. And all that entails. Will the world ever get back to simplicity, which would be a blessing? No, I don't think so. But the individual, you see, he can escape the complexity by going within himself. You can find peace within. And finding this peace will give you longevity. This peace even increases the power of the immune system. So it gives it free play. Because complexity and stress cause the secretion of hormones at times when they shouldn't be secreted, which causes problems physiologically and mentally. So the dissolution of simplicity is like God has sort of created a hell for people on earth. But the only way that they can get rid of it is to go within and find peace within. You got to do it yourself. You can't wait for something to come, some entity to come from beyond the clouds. You, the person, has to do this. Okay, folks. Good talking to you again. Subscribe, and I'll be getting back with you soon. I have a lot more to talk about. And get deeper into the mythology, etc., and the astro mythology, etc., and what it means, and how it can be very helpful to us. Thank you very much, folks, and subscribe. Bye.